Exactly a week from today, Parliament will resume. The parliamentarians will return from recess. But already, in the last 24 hours, we've seen a monumental clash between the majority and minority sides as we all look forward to the resumption of Parliament after the Christmas and New Year break. It is setting up to be a very interesting period for Parliament when they resume. The minority side, they have found their back. They want to hold government accountable, and they've held a press conference with a lot of accusations, but also key issues that they are serving notice they're not going to be compromising on when Parliament resumes. Jen, today, the majority side fired back, led by the majority leader himself. And a lot of the things that they've been talking about and debating in the public domain before Parliament resumes has to do with you. And there are very distinctive positions on how this economy is faring and how you are faring in this economy. They have views on that particular subject and your welfare and which government has served you best. We're going to be interrogating that here on PM Express, holding them to strict proof. It's been 39 days since they went on that recess, 7 days more to go, exactly a week today. We'll see them come back. It was the minority leader who fired the first shot yesterday, addressing a news conference. A few things that he says. I'm pretty sure you've noticed all the gains that the economy has been experiencing over the last 1 year. The cedi's appreciation, the fall of inflation, significant fall indeed. His position, as far as my minority leader is concerned, is that the gains isn't a product of a particular deliberate government policy, but rather the IMF program, which he argues, evidentially, that the previous government bequeathed the current government. And so he's taking credit for that, in essence. Rising commodity prices, which he says is not the making of the current government, but it's just a factor of global geopolitics. And we've also seen gold prices rise above $5,000 an ounce for the very first. And it says that is a significant part of why your current living conditions and cost of living is better. It talks about weakened US dollar and debt restructuring. So if you pay a careful attention to what he's saying here, IMF program, the NPP left that for the NDC. Debt restructuring, he says the NPP left that for the NDC. And so those two, he says, are fundamentally the reason why, and it's something that they should be given credit for. And you have the rising commodity price and weakened US dollar, which are geopolitics. Is that really the case? So we'll subject that to strict proof. We've shown you before that on the subject of the US dollar, yes, it may be weakening, but the strong performance of the cedi is not only against the US dollar, it is against all major trading currencies. So if the dollar is weakening, we've actually seen that some of the other currencies are strong still, but the dollar is the cedi is still doing well against them. And so that challenges this particular position of the minority. There are a few other things that they've also made a point to articulate, which is giving us a sense of the performance of the current government on a host of issues. The LGBTQ bill has not been passed, and that obviously is an issue that the minority is within its right to raise, because it was an NDC in opposition that made this a big political subject. It was factor in the campaigns, and yet they've had a super majority in Parliament and they haven't passed it yet. Minority raises that. Gold board, fueling galamsey. There's no evidence to suggest this yet. The minority leader himself talks about the fact that they don't know whether or not the gold board is purchasing illegal gold, gold from illegal mines. But they raised the question, and they have done so. BOG heavily exposed to the gold board, which we know the minority is raising that, but the IMF have raised that too. Unemployment remains high. We'll fact check that very shortly. Compared to the NDC's, MPP's time in office, inconsistent foreign policies. They've accused and criticized Okudzeto Ablakwa of being a bit bullish and reckless in his approach to foreign policy. Well, that is a view that they hold very strongly on the matter. Abuse of certificate of urgency, and they're warning that they will not be tolerating any certificate of urgencies when Parliament resumes. And the majority side have been responding to that too. So what did the majority side say when they got an opportunity to issue a statement signed by the majority leader? They say, they're giving us an update. The 24-hour policy will come to Parliament. It's going to be passed, they say. The MPP, they say, passed 56 bills and the state of urgency. In other words, you did worse. But again, the question is, how many certificate of urgencies has there been under the NDC since they won power? Energy sector cleanup is another one that the majority cited that they're doing and fixing the problems that they said they inherited in the energy sector. Exchange rate and inflation stabilized, which is a fact. And then auditing to 1D, 1F. Once Parliament resumes, we're looking forward to this, by the way, and that's going to be very interesting when Parliament resumes. So, what do we know from the IMF? The IMF is an independent Bretton Woods institution we've gone to. They have a verdict on the economy, and they say something very simple. Facing policy and reform setbacks in 2024, if you stop there for a second, that is the IMF verdict on the previous administration, that there were policy and reform setbacks. They now move on to the new government. And so again, that challenges the financial market narrative on the good that they did for the economy. And they come to the point about the new governments introduce corrective measures to restore progress. So the IMF doesn't agree that the benefits that the economy has chalked and the progress that we've seen in the last 1 year is fundamentally down to extraneous factors and factors that are within our control. And it's not because, as the minority had argued, that the government had instituted deliberate, carefully implemented policies that have seen the direct result of the inflation and etc. The IMF comes to the conclusion that indeed the government has introduced corrective measures. So IMF disagrees with the minority side, that indeed this benefit, this progress that we've seen is a result of direct, deliberate government policy. So again, we'll interrogate that. That's the IMF position on the matter. If you look at inflation, again, comparing the two regimes, but this is a debate around some of these very easy things, verifiable, that's self-evident, right? We've seen the inflation drop significantly to 5.4, and there was a time when it was very, very high. It went all the way to 50+% in the previous administration. We talk about, that is when we had it in 2023. This current government had worked on it to where it is right now. Because when you're in government and you see 5.4, you will take credit for it. And for us, it's just, again, another fact that you have to point to. But another one that Afonyo Markin touched on, which again, the data needs to be looked at, and this is a statistical service data on the subject of unemployment. He accuses the government of superintending over a very serious worsening unemployment situation. Look at the last quarter, just before the MPP left power. The unemployment rate, according to the Statistical Service, was 13.1%. Under this government, in the first quarter, it dropped to 12.8%. Now, again, you need to ask yourself a very relevant, fair question. First quarter, last quarter, did this current government do anything practically, deliberately, that would have accounted for this drop? You have to say that on the balance of probability, that can be the case. It must have been something that was done in the previous administration that led to this drop. However, if you look to the rest of the year, and we come to the third quarter of 2025, it climbed a bit to 13%. It's still lower than the last quarter of the NPP administration. You have to credit them with this. The policies that they put in place in the early period began to bear fruits, and we've seen 13%. This is a 0.1%, 1% to 0.1% drop there. It's still something, right? So again, you look at that and you say that towards the end of the last quarter of last year, this government was doing better on employment numbers than the MPP did. And then you look at the expenditure issues that are very important in the management of the economy. Total expenditure, 541 million. If you look at the companies affected, 868. And this comes down to the one district, one factory, right, expenditure. And this is as at the end of 2023. Why is this important? Because you've seen that the majority is saying that they'll be looking into this when Parliament resumes. So there are a few things that we need to be interrogating. They're debating. A week from today, Parliament will resume. I have two leaders from both sides joining me tonight for a conversation on this. Stay with me. And thanks for staying with us here on PM Express. It's always brought to you by Syntex Tanks. It is strong, it is tough. Pepsodent Committee Fighter toothpaste. And if you're looking for the right tank to store water, do you know the secret is simply looking for the tortoise on the tank? It is not the correct tank if it doesn't have the tortoise on it. That's right, the tortoise tank. Syntex Tank is the champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather, rain or shine. Syntex Tank, are you strong, are you tough? Now, every time we eat, food and sugars are trapped between our teeth, leading to tooth decay, gum disease, and in some cases, foul breath. Brushing your teeth every morning and night with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter gives your teeth the protection they need, leaving your teeth with 10 times stronger breath. And that is a Pepsodent Cavity Fighter that you need to get tonight before you sleep. My guest joining me is Habib Iddrisu. He's the first Deputy Minority Whip in Parliament, MP for Tolon, and I'm grateful that he joins us. And Emmanuel Bedzrah is the chairman of the Energy Committee in Parliament. He's the MP for Ho West, and I'm delighted that both of you join me. I'm going to take a quick break. When I return, we'll get straight into it. Stay with me. Habib Iddrisu and the chairman of the Energy Committee, Emmanuel Bedzrah, my guests from Parliament tonight, as we look forward to Parliament resuming next week, Tuesday, a week from today exactly. But Habib, so why was this press conference called?
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers, and good evening to my senior colleague, Honorable Bedzrah. In fact, when you look at the theme of our press conference, it was to the effect that we are going to account for power. The National Democratic Congress haven't been in power for more than a year now, and then we are resuming on the 3rd of February. So we wanted to account to Ghanaians what we in the minority have been doing and what we are expected to do as we resume this sitting in 2026, the first sitting in 2026. And the fact that this government came into office with a back of a lot of promises, many unrealistic, many deceptive, many that actually cannot materialize, and nothing has been done with a lot of things that have been done. The hasty nature of the majority in Parliament, the irrelevance of their so-called super majority that the Ghanaians gave them. In fact, that was the back of and the reason why we call for this press conference. If you are well aware that last year in 2025, the majority had rushed in a lot of bills which are very problematic. They rush in bills under certificate of agency, and overnight there are other laying paper withdrawing it. There are others seeking amendment to bills that they have rushed or overnight. These are part of the reasons that we are preparing the minds of Ghanaians that in 2026 the narrative and the situation is going to be very different from what actually happened in 2025. I think that was, in essence, the reason why we called for the press conference.
I'll come to break down some of the specifics, but you touched on the certificate of urgency. But it's a standard parliamentary procedure. Depending on the subject matter, the bill in question, the urgency of the time, if you can cite specifics, which of the certificate of urgencies did you have to consider that didn't merit that treatment?
So you see, this is an abuse of democratic process. An abuse of democratic process in the sense that, yes, they have the supermajority. And if you look at outstanding orders clearly, when a bill is laid before Parliament, it's referred to a committee. The committee can decide the agent nature of the bill. That is clearly in our standing orders. When it comes to the plenary or on the floor, we can either reject that recommendation from the committee or accept Mind you, they have more than 2/3 majority in Parliament, so they'll always use their numbers. But the question is that, Evans, can you mention one of the bills that they have passed that is of agent nature? To what extent? What is agent about it? You are passing a university.
How many bills were considered under civil agency?
About 33. So when
in 1 year?
Yes, in 1 year, about 33. I cannot even remember any of their bills that didn't come under certificate of agency.
33?
Yes, about 30.
In 1 year?
About 33 of their bills have come all under certificate of agency. As a deputy minority whip, I have raised this issue on the floor of Parliament that that the majority is abusing the process under certificate of agency. The majority is abusing their numbers that the Ghanaian people have given them. And they will just come out with a bill. If my senior colleague, Honorable Bedzrah, is here, I don't know some of the bills that they bring, what it is of what agents, what is agent about it. And overnight, Evans, they will come back to either seek for an amendment. They have laid close to 2 or 3 bills on the floor of Parliament that they have withdrawn. And it was still under the same certificate of agency. Mind you, they came with the gold board bill. They said certificate of agency. We have to rush it overnight. There are problems with it. This sitting, they will bring an amendment to be done. Why pass a bill? It should be able to stand the test of time. It should be there should be longevity with regards to the bills that we pass. We are passing fisheries bill. You come with the essence that Ghana have been shown a yellow card, we might get a red card for that matter, we should pass this and that, and yet nothing has changed. What is agent about it? Ghana have been on yellow card in the fishing bill for long. We are doing a University for Development Studies amendment bill, or the bills to establish other universities. You are coming under certificate of agency, and so many other bills that they have brought that we don't need it at ADA. Mind you, the work of Parliament, we definitely need time to scrutinize documents. We need to engage. Many times when the minority raise issues, when they brought the lithium bill and they tried to lay the document, they said it was under certificate of agency. We made noise about it. We said it was not a good deal for Ghana. We said Ghana was going to be ripped off in terms of what benefit comes to the country. The minister responsible for lands and natural resources, my good friend, my former colleague in leadership, argued the reason for its agency. At the end of the day, he withdrew it to make for the further consultation. So what informed the agency of it? So if we did not blow the alarm and civil society organizations did not join us on the call that we don't need to rush some of these things, because some of these things we need actually, apart from members of Parliament, we need to be able to consult our constituencies. We need to be able to consult experts in this field so that we can make any informed decision. Yeah. They can bring a bill, Evans, in the morning. By evening, it is passed. How can Parliament do a good job with regards to this?
Mr. Bedzrah, is it true that in 1 year you brought 33 at least, and so it could be more, 33 bills under Secretary of Agency?
Evans, good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Yes, since the beginning of the year, this is my first time appearing. I wish all listeners and viewers a Merry Christmas, which has passed, and a Happy New Year, a prosperous New Year. Of course, the current government has done extremely well when it comes to the terms of managing the economy. We all know what has happened. People celebrated their Christmas very well. And I believe you did celebrate your Christmas very well. And so we thank God for it. And we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to do that in the spirit of, making sure that we have reset the country. Having said that, I don't think that the current Parliament, that's the 9th Parliament, has passed 33 bills under the certificate of agency. I don't believe in it. I don't think so. Maybe you can ask your research officers to quickly Google and find out from Parliament website how many bills that has gone through certificate of agency. My colleague, who is who is a leader of the House, might have to refresh his memory again to see whether it is 33 or he's talking about 3. Because I have the details here, and I will show you in a due course. Having said that, Evans.
So how many?
I'll come to that. I have it. I'll bring it to you. But having said that, Evans, every responsible minority in any parliament will have to do what they are doing. I believe they are responsible. That is why they had to report to Ghanaians, to account to Ghanaians what they've done in Parliament. And I don't begrudge them at all. I don't think the majority will begrudge them at all when they go having news conferences and also telling Ghanaians what they've done in Parliament. It is a good thing. It's good for our democracy. Knowing also the numbers, that the numbers are small numbers, they should be able to make noise. And as we always say in our parliamentary parlance, that the minority will make their noise and the majority will have their way. It is not because they are in the micro minority, that's why they are making a noise. They're making a noise because they think that they are the alternative. They are ready to take over the reins of affairs, or they are the alternative, government in the waiting. And so we don't begrudge them at all. But when you create the impression that the government or Parliament, let me use Parliament, the Parliament has rushed certain businesses rushed through certificate of agency, and you do not provide evidence to that effect, then I have problem with that.
But they've given us a hard number. I have not heard yours here. You are contradicting the 33. You must give me one that challenges that position.
Evans, before I give you, I have in my hand here 2017 to 2020, and I will tell you ours. 2017 to 2013, this is the full provided 31 bills that went to certificate of agency. 2017
okay.
to 2020. That is the 7th Parliament.
Okay, so this is 2017 to 2020.
Exactly. Then from 2021, that's the 8th Parliament, to 2025, 7th January, they've also brought about 26 bills under certificate of agency. Now, when it comes to the current, from 9th Parliament, from 2025 to 2026, just 1 year, we've done sports fund bill under certificate of agency. You have Get Fund Amendment Bill under certificate of agency. You have the Road Traffic Amendment Bill. And then we have the Mahama Care, which you all know. Now, you should tell me the ones that I have not mentioned.
It says Gold Board.
Oh, no, not that. I can mention it to him.
Yeah, bring it.
Let me start. So, Ghana, we have the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Amendment Bill, 2025.
It's an amendment.
It's still a bill.
Yes. Yeah.
It's still a bill. So that is one. We have the Ghana. We have the Ghana Medical Trust Fund Bill.
I've said it.
Then I'm coming. I'll just give you all the bills that. And then we also have the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Bill.
It wasn't.
We have the Energy Sector Levies.
I am the chairman.
He's the chairman of the committee.
That day, you remember?
I was there.
Yeah, remember listen, senior colleague. That day, I was in the chamber when the document was brought.
Yes.
By then, you were not in there. Then I asked Collins, who is the deputy ranking, whether you have considered this. And you forcefully, remember, even it late, then I had to engage you, and you said that you have discussed it, even though they were saying that.
The same day.
No, we did. Remember, it was under certificate of agency, but we raised issues. I raised quorum issues on that day that we don't have the numbers.
So it's no longer.
No, I'm coming. But that was it. I'm still mentioning this. We have
was it considered unless
we have the emission levy repeal bill 2025. It's still a bill. We have the electronic transfer levy repeal bill 2025.
Those repeal.
I'm coming. They are all bills, and we also have the earmark funds and capping and realignment amendment bill 2025. We also have. I'll just try to get.
Get Fund Amendment Bill.
Get Fund. You are. We have the 24-hour Economy Authority Bill that you laid. We have the public holidays.
No, we laid.
I'm coming. We have the public holidays and commemorative amendment bill that Honorable the Interior Minister had to amend some of the holidays and other things.
Good.
We have the Governance Advisory Council Amendment Bill. As I told you, about 33
bills that was presented to Parliament.
About 33.
Not
about 33. Then a lot of the bills.
But the point is making that they came under a certificate of urgency.
We are talking
Which
about.
Which of them didn't come under certificate of urgency?
No, I mean I'm just clarifying.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, they did.
But
and then you have the university.
But he's gone through it. I mean, you've confirmed.
And I'm telling him that there was not all of them went to the certificate of agency. The one that went to
but at least the ones he's mentioned all went under certificate of agency.
Okay, then we also have.
So I'll tell you.
Listen, we also have the Growth and Sustainability Amendment Bill 2025. We also have the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025. We also have.
So
we also have the Interstate Succession Bill.
Are you saying that one too came under secret agency?
Yes. All these bills, they rush it through.
No, Interstate Succession Amendment Bill.
Yes, because there is a 2018. Evans, there was a 2018 one when it was presented by the respected Attorney General. They said under certificate of agency. You see, the certificate of agency is in two folds, which I always fold them in the floor of Parliament. When they are presenting, they said under certificate of agency. Then I raise an issue that it is the committee that need to determine whether it is under certificate of agency or not. Then the speaker will then say that they should make. And as I said, that's how they abuse their numbers. Because you see, they think that the minority, our numbers are not enough to be able to challenge decisions. And normally speaker will say that when the committee, he is the chairman of a committee, generate a report and bring it in. Even a report might be laid or a paper might be laid under normal process, refer to the committee as a chairman, he can determine with his members of his committee that it is of agent nature and then bring it to the floor. Instead of us being given the opportunity to interrogate the issue, they will use their number to bulldozer their way through. The Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Bill
also came under
certificate of agency. I debated when they brought the Legal Education Reform Bill 2025. So I can mention all the 33 that I am talking about. So I have been mentioning, your people are counting. And you can, at the end of the day, you will be able to understand how agents, when they brought the National Health Insurance Amendment Bill, the same thing. We raised issue. You wanted to take part of the money from health insurance and put it into Mahama Care. We said, why want to clearly it is a campaign promise you want to fulfill. Enhance the capacity of the health insurance. What is Mahama Care why is Mahama Care coming to do different from what the health insurance is doing? Evans, and it will interest you to know that even at the point of passing them, the Petroleum Revenue Management Amendment Bill, number 2, they did it under certificate of agency. He was the chairman. He's the chairman of the committee. They brought it.
That's the same thing you talk about.
No, I'm coming. And then they brought another one, the Revenue Administrative Amendment Bill. The finance minister brought a certificate of agency. They brought the Road Maintenance Trust Fund Bill.
Also,
and the certificate, yes, and I raised issue. Even when we amended it, I raised issue with my good friend Kwame Agoja, the road minister. And I told him that was when we were saying that, okay, who are going to be, that delayed the formation of the road fund board, where contractors have not been paid because the government didn't want to. They delayed at the end of the day. The minister's argument was that this needs to be established. Contractors need to be paid. There's no road fund. This is coming to replace the road
Mr. Bedzrah, but that is clearly a problem. That in 1 year, 30 plus bills under certificate of urgency. It sounds really upset. In fact, even if you compare to the data you gave us,
yes.
So in 8 years, they passed about 50. Because there's 31 and then there's 26, I believe you said. If you put it together, you're talking about 57.
Yeah.
57 bills in 8 years, but in 1 year you've done 34 plus, 33, he says.
Under certificate of agency.
And
I'm telling you that it's not true. And so you have your...
But he has the evidence that he's gone through.
Oh, have you not... You asked him whether they all went, including the one interstate succession bill. You just asked him. Let me read to your listeners and the viewers what certificate agency is all about. Now, our Order 60, which is called from Article 106.13, says that a sponsor may submit a bill to Parliament without publication in Gazette, where the sponsor of the bill considers the bill to be of an urgent nature. The Speaker shall refer a bill to the appropriate committee for determination of the agency or otherwise the presentation and first reading. Where the committee determines that the bill is an urgent nature, the committee shall inform the House by report. And he's telling us today that 33 of the bills were presented under certificate agency. So he should tell us how many of those bills that a committee determined that it should be taken under certificate of agency. How many of them?
Okay.
33 were presented. How many of them were taken under...
You want him to answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Order 160, as you have said, I have explained it earlier on. There was already an argument which I raised on the floor of Parliament that the Speaker doesn't determine the agency of a bill. It is the committee that does, based on Order 160.
So how many out of the
10 I'm coming. But you see, I want to reflect your mind. You've been in the chamber for a very longer time than I have been. You will bring a bill under certificate of agency. The committee generates 2 reports. There is a report on the agency of the bill, and there is the report of the committee on that particular subject. Now, you raise it under certificate of agency because you did not follow the due process as stated in the Constitution, publication, gazetting, and other things. Because when you come under certificate of agency, you bypass all these processes. Because if it is done, then people, even including people outside Parliament, can now have access to it and then be able to even advise Parliament that this is what I think. Majority of them asked him that how many of the bills that they brought have gone through.
No, but he's asking you a question.
And I am telling him, I have answered the question that I have said that they brought about 33 under certificate of agency.
But which of them went to the committee and the committee then endorses the...
All of them. Because the point is that, Evans, how can I make a statement that it came under certificate of agency?
But let me ask you, for those ones that came before your committee, because you can speak authoritatively, did you present all of those under certificate of agency?
No, at all. That's what he was saying.
Well, so which of them, because you mentioned a few of them, which of them did you not present?
ESLA.
You presented as a certificate of agency, or you didn't?
No, when we met as a committee, we realized that, we need to consult further. So we didn't present it the same day.
Although it was presented as such, the committee did not endorse.
At all. Okay. And I'll give you another one recently. That's the petroleum PPA. Petroleum agreement, which was, given to us, and we're supposed to work on it. He's even my friend. He said, can we work on it? I said, no, we're not going to work on it. So we have to go back, involve even civil society organizations to come educate us and tell us whether this should be taken. So we did not take it. Issues can come. The leadership, government can say, okay, we want this under certificate of agency, but it's the committee that will determine. And I'm telling him that a lot came, but we did not take it under certificate of agency. That's simple.
So Habib,
many times I have to use kind of technical.
You've raised that, but there are so many things you raised at present. I don't want to spend all the time talking about this one. But the very final on this matter, you said you're not going to allow this to happen when Parliament resumes. You were very clear on that matter.
Oh, yes.
How exactly? With your numbers?
Even at leadership level, we have engaged the Speaker. We have engaged the clerk at table. We have raised serious concerns with regards to this certificate of agency bills. And Evans, how will Parliament do a very good job?
No, you've raised a concern. My question is, you've raised it. So how are you going to...
Definitely, I am not going to bring my strategy like this as a whip. It is my job. And you know how I can hijack bills on the floor of Parliament.
With your numbers?
Not numbers. You see, a lot of things happen in Parliament. Definitely, if they are coming under this certificate of agency, and then coming back with amendment. In fact, I didn't have the data.
Under the rules, what can you do to challenge it, to stop them from... Because you want to stop these certificate of agency bills that come.
Evans, like I said,
you will not disclose.
I will not disclose. But the point is that if they bring it under certificate of agency and other things, and we can flag it with a lot of amendments, then they cannot be able to have a way to go.
Another issue you raise, still holding government accountable, is you accuse them of failing to pass the Anti-LGBTQ Bill in 1 year. And that is a matter of fact. It hasn't been passed. But let me put it, because he's there, he's the co-sponsor on the bill. That is a fair criticism. That for a government that made this a campaign issue, it dominated the discussions, the minority is right to call you out that having been giving, you can say the victory you won is in part due to the fact that you championed this. Having been given the super majority, that you can actually, and there's a kind of urgency, just to quote Habib's point, why is it that after a year, the anti-LGBTQ bill remains unpassed? That is a criticism they level against you.
Well, I'll be happy if they will support us to bring this one as a together agency. Will you support me to bring us a together agency?
Can you just answer this question?
No, if you do that. So, so I'll come.
It's coming.
No.
So you were a sponsor.
I am a sponsor of the bill. And quite frankly, I even stated it here last time I came, that if this bill is not passed in Parliament, I want to repeat it again, if it's not passed in this current Parliament, I will not return to Parliament. I mean, and you can quote me
in protest.
Yes, in protest. I will not come back. So, and I'm definite and I'm sure that we'll pass it before the end of this Parliament. Now, the haste of passing it, and I'll tell you why it was introduced actually. It was late. You remember?
Yeah.
It was late. What is left now is for the committee to start working on it, where we'll have the second reading and then we'll work on it. Why it hasn't been done is between parliamentary leadership and the executive. Now, the executive wants it to come as a public bill. You remember the Honorable, Mr. Lawyer Fuamini Moses, who is the...
So they met the Attorney General.
Yes, and he also believes that it should come as... Because that's the coalition. The coalition thinks that government should bring it.
Yes.
Now, leadership of the House also think that it should be bipartisan bill. It should not be limited to, the executive, where the executive will take credit. So Parliament should pass it as a private bill where all of us will have an input in it. That is where we have the problem now. And it's delaying it. For me, I have some interaction with the Speaker as one of the sponsors. The Speaker, well, as soon as we return, let's table this in and work on it. Whether government decides to take it up and bring it back, we have started our work on it. So it is between them, leadership, he knows about it, and the executive. The executive wants to bring us a public bill, where the coalition also supports it. And then we also think that it should be done as private members' bill.
Okay. Do you accept that as an explanation?
Evans, I'll just advise my senior colleague, Honorable Bedzrah, that he's one of the most experienced legislators in the House. He shouldn't tie his parliamentary or his return to the 10th Parliament to this bill. Evans, this is the hypocrisy and the double standard we are talking about of the NDC. Now, Honorable Bedzrah is saying that the executive, that is the government, through the Attorney General, should be able to help present the bill.
No.
When we may, that's what you just said. No, I said that the executive think that they should present the bill. But if,
I didn't say
if you are following
because
the
we
discussion,
want
that was the argument we made then. But they said it is a private member's bill. For that matter, government doesn't need to.
But you help us.
When we even said that there was going to be a cost to the consolidation fund, consolidated fund, you did not agree.
So
with
why
us.
are you now fighting?
And I am saying that, and also, Honorable Bedzrah, the bill at the moment in its current form, it's not even before Parliament. What happened? I raised the matter on the floor of Parliament. If your research group can be able to do, because it was captured on the other paper. Then the next day, it was missing on the other paper. I raised it on the floor of Parliament that yesterday, the private member bill was captured on the LBGT. But at the moment, it is missing. The response from the respected majority leader was that Speaker did not properly admit the motion. But now, with private members' motion, our new standing orders have given room. There is a committee which is chaired by the first deputy speaker. You appear, and then they advise speaker, then speaker admit the whole thing. The majority leader is on record saying that he thinks that the bill is passed. It's on record that he said on the floor of Parliament that left to him.
Yeah, that's true. But subsequently, things have changed.
These people, the double standard and the hypocrisy is that they campaign on the back of the fact that the New Patriotic Party and the then MPP-led Akufo-Addo government did not want to pass the LBG. 1 year along the line...
No, we passed, assented to.
Listen,
we are talking about
we didn't want to assent to this because it was a private member's bill. 1 year along the line, it has not...
Why didn't you assent if you have assented?
When you have two men kissing at the Independence Square, recently it happened. Yeah. When you have this LBG in our curriculum...
If you have assented to it, if you have assented to it, you have two men kissing.
So I am saying that the NDC government deceive Ghanaians. Oh, no. They campaign.
But do you acknowledge that?
They did politics with it.
Do you acknowledge that factually at the leadership level in Parliament?
No, there is nothing like that. Okay. Because I have raised it on the floor of
the
Parliament.
Speaker had no express wish that it remains private.
And you know the hypocrisy. Previously, you could see that when Honorable Bedzrah and co were sponsoring it, they were even more on their side sponsoring the bill in the 8th Parliament. But in the 9th Parliament, it is a different story together. When Reverend Ntim Fojo led the team to file the motion, the Speaker himself, including the majority leader, said that the motion has not been admitted. Speaker is saying that they are going through other processes to make sure that the bill is now either realigned, properly done. And then why is it that the form that it was passed, you were putting pressure on President Akufo-Addo to sign? What is wrong with it passing it in the same shape, the same form for President Mahama?
So where is the bill as we speak right now?
It's still in Parliament.
There is nothing like that. There is nothing like that.
Properly before Parliament.
I am telling you on authority that there is nothing like that. Because I have raised it. You can easily just Google it. I raised it on the floor of Parliament. And I have said that. Let me make my point. It is on record. It is on record, Evans, that I raised the matter on the floor of Parliament that it was advertised on the order paper. The next day it was missing. The response the majority leader said was that it was not properly before Parliament. And for that matter, Speaker needed to be admitted, Speaker needed to admit it, and Speaker did not. The first Deputy Speaker and Speaker himself said it has to go through a certain process before he admits it. So properly, if something is admitted before Parliament, it is found in the order.
Let him deal with that.
There is nothing like that.
I'm happy that the minority.
So don't tie your MPship to it. No, because your people are not ready. They only campaign about it.
No, but he's a co-sponsor.
They used to win election, and they have found its way into a curriculum. Your child and my child are going to be allowed to be discussed.
Let him address it.
I'm happy that the minority are supporting this bill at this particular point in time. And that they even outnumbered those who are sponsoring it. Why? Because if really they meant well, they would have spoken to Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo, to have assented to it. Anyway, he hasn't assented to it. President Mahama said he will assent to it. As soon as the bill is passed, he will assent. This is the second time mentioning this. So all we needed to do is to pass it. Now, he said something which I need to correct, that because it was published in our order paper, the following day, it wasn't the asking. A whole committee that I chair, that we went through all the processes of investigating the issues that happened during the vetting of ministers. Yeah. The Speaker admitted it. I've laid the report. The report is a public document, asking whether that issue has been captured in the order paper. They've removed it. Asking he's a leader. Why would they do it? So it's not about... So if you talk about hypocrisy, then somebody should tell me why should that report, which was laid, and about to it was laid, has not been taken and is no longer on the order paper.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain why the LGBTQ one is...
So that's the parliamentary procedure. Parliamentary procedure means that, look, we have these bills, we'll work on it. Now, if we are not working on it now, let others take, precedent. Let others, be done. And that's exactly what they are doing. And he's in leadership. As soon as other, urgent documents or, bills have come, let's work on that. That does not mean that it's not be captured in the order. He knows that it's been captured.
Evans is very sad. And I feel very sad as a Ghanaian that our family value, we are doing politics about it. I feel very sad that people are comfortable to fly from South Africa and other places to come to Ghana and start kissing man to man. I feel very sad that this thing has found its way into our curricula. I feel very sad that the NDC, Evans, we were all in Ghana. The cry, the noise, Honorable Bedzrah, Honorable Roxanne Nelson, the Piamopo, my good friends, Sam George and co, all made noise about it. Who could have been able to think that even 2 months into NDC government wouldn't have passed the LBGT? At the moment, more than 1 year, they are giving us explanation. They are speaking English. That is not what we want to hear. That is not what Ghanaians want to hear. You told Ghanaians that it was wrong. You told Ghanaians that we needed it. You told Ghanaians that it was an emergency. You told Ghanaians that that is what will be able to save our children.
What's the assurance? That is a fair criticism. Yes. It's a fair. What's the assurance that when Parliament resumes, this will be dealt with?
Oh, I'm telling you that we are going to pass it. But you see, if
how quickly?
If we are talking about hypocrisy, I still don't get my colleague, who is a leader of the bench. I still don't get him. That with all that he's saying, he couldn't prevail on his President Akufo-Addo, to assent to it. To the extent that before even the bill was presented to him, he sent somebody to Supreme Court. We heard Akufo-Addo on tape saying that, oh, somebody is going to the Supreme Court. Once the thing has not... So sometimes I feel very sad.
But for him,
yes,
he helps you pass it.
Oh, as for passing it...
So he's been consistent. So as far as the members of Parliament on the minority side... My point is that
we pass it.
They've been consistent. They helped you pass it.
I have given assurance.
It was the executive that refused to sign.
Oh, so now it's the executive. He's part of...
I was never part of an executive. I was a leader in Parliament. I was a legislator. and we pass it. It has not been... If it has not been assented to, that is the discretion of the president.
Oh,
and the Constitution have given the president that discretion, where if a bill is passed, he can either...
So safe to say that you disagreed with the Akufo-Addo for not signing.
So do you
just to clarify.
Evans,
just to clarify. Because he's accusing you of being double standards.
Evans.
Did you disagree?
That's 2 wrongs make a right.
It doesn't.
The 8th Parliament has elapsed, and the 8th Parliament has elapsed with every part of it.
As a principle.
So if the president, even President John Mahama, he spoke about it, right?
Yeah.
Their national party spoke about it.
Yeah.
It was part of the things that they made serious argument with. I am very sad to hear. I respect him so much, Honorable Bedzrah. He's a very consistent person, and he speaks the truth when issues are come. So now his integrity is on the line because he was part of the sponsors. I can tell you on authority because we are now the lead sponsors of the bill. It has not been admitted.
We don't have any lead sponsors. If we are all co-sponsors, we are all co-sponsors.
No, this issue of co-sponsored because I say lead sponsored. When was the last time you hear anybody from the majority, the current majority, speaking about on the floor of Parliament that it has not been? We are those who are speaking about it. Can you show us evidence?
He has. Here on the show.
Listen,
he has. In fact, he's the only person who is putting parliamentary career on the matter.
I'm saying that. No, that's why I'm advising him not to. I'm advising him not to.
But that shows you his commitment.
We will make every noise. When I raise the issue,
and I'm happy you are.
When I raise the issue that the NDC government have allowed men to be kissing at the Independence Square, Roxanne, who was the lawyer or a sponsor, said what I was saying was not true. Along the line, he has to apologize on his social media that what I was actually was true because he could see more pictures of these two men in Trotro in Ghana, kissing, hugging, doing all kind of things. Even during the MPP time, it didn't get this west. It didn't get to an extent that it has been introduced into our curricula. Ghanaians should know that the NDC came at the back of deception. They have come on the back of double standard. They don't believe in the LGBTQ. They were just going to force the MPP government to sign something that they want to use for campaign. What stopped you from 1 year along the line?
Anyway,
if you don't believe in it, pass it.
He's giving you an assurance.
You have every number, even with us.
No problem.
They can pass it because they have more than...
He's giving an assurance that it will be done. You accept that?
No, assurance after 1 year along the line, it's even too late. The Ghanaians need it now. No, that's what Ghanaians need.
So I'm telling you that you are going to assist us to pass it.
We are for it.
Yeah, okay.
And we are for it on the form.
We are all for it.
On the form that you pass it.
It's no longer our salary.
Parliament.
It's no longer about our salary or
let's get it.
Yes.
Let's get it.
One, the whole house is for it, including the speaker.
Yes.
And so you can be rest assured.
Then what is happening?
Okay. Let's move on to another issue that you raised. Very important to Ghanaians about the economy. You make the point very forcefully that the gains that the economy has chalked, the progress we've seen in the last 1 year, is not because of a deliberate government policy that has been implemented. In fact, you say it's because of the IMF program, rising commodity prices, weakening US dollar, debt restructuring. You didn't give them credit at all for what has happened. And a lot of it is because of the work that you've done. But the evidence doesn't suggest that what you have attributed the gains to is actually right. You concede that it is factually inaccurate to say that the gains we've seen is because of other extraneous factors, an IMF program, and not because of the strong, positive policies that they've implemented.
So can you help me with one of the policies that you think that they have implemented that is helping in this regard? We argue that there was some of our debt, we were no more servicing it because of the DDP. Majority of our loans, interests were suspended. We were not to pay to 2026, that is this year. That gave the government a briefing space. The Bank of Ghana published that they had injected some 10 billion United States dollars into the economy to be able to sustain the exchange rate. We know that the IMF have also made significant statement with regards to what actually is going on in the economy. So we argue that, yes, whatever you might have done with regards to the dollar, then it has to do with factors that has come from the fact that we were no more paying our debt, not servicing.
So the dollar is just one. What about inflation?
No, but you see, Evans.
What about inflation?
I'm just from Tamale, and then I'm finding it very difficult to even believe the numbers on the inflation figures because it.
So you doubt the statistical service?
It doesn't. Yes. The head of the statistical service. I am saying on authority that I doubt his numbers.
Based on
the fact that the inflationary figure that he is given does not necessarily reflect into what is going on.
Are you accusing the statistics of cooking inflation numbers?
I strongly believe that those numbers are not realistic. They are not realistic because they don't reflect what is happening in the market.
That's a very serious accusation.
Yes,
the same statistical service that worked under you, it's the only state agency
but they have changed the
mandated to do this.
They have changed the heads. They have brought in new management in there. And Evans, I am saying he was asking you, in his introduction, he said that he hoped you had a very good Christmas. I didn't, I could see from your face that you never had any good Christmas. When things are hard, when everything is difficult, when you go to the ordinary market, you want to buy sugar, you want to buy tomatoes, none of the prices have come down. And you're talking about 5 to 6% of inflation. Where does this reflect? In which market? And what are you attributing the inflation? When there is an inflation, you give a figure which does not necessarily reflect in the reduction of prices of goods and services. So what kind of inflation is this?
But what you're saying is simply based on a hunch. Inflation doesn't mean that prices aren't rising. The rate at which it's rising has dropped significantly. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that your prices are dropping necessarily. It means that you still have prices rising, but that is not 54%, which you use under your watch. It's rising, but it's rising at a 5.4%.
Evans,
you've seen some price rising, but it is showing positively, according to the Statistical Service, which is the only authority on the matter, that this is a very positive...
Evans, if the government is telling us that
trajectory,
the micro and the macroeconomic indicators are very favorable, they are telling us that the exchange rate is very stable, they are telling us that everything is going on right, you should be able to see that reflecting in our pockets. Yes, if you say the rate at which prices of goods and services increase reflect on the inflation. Definitely we should be able to feel it. Can you mention offhand what you think that it is not, the price have dropped? Inflation will also mean that even if it is not rising, but at the rate at which it is rising, or there must even be price reduction. And I am saying an ordinary farmer in Tamale, an ordinary farmer from Tolong, an ordinary farmer from, Tali and Chilfoyle in my constituency must be able to feel that in their pocket. That is the ordinary part of inflation. It is English for you to say that, the rate at which prices of goods and services increases, it is what the inflation determines. When you are talking about 5%, I want to see deduction. I want to see that there's a reduction in the prices of goods and services for me to feel that the micro and the macroeconomic indicators are actually stable and coming down. But nothing reflects.
But here's the thing. The IMF disagrees fundamentally with your conclusion that the benefits we are witnessing in the economy is due to other matters, other factors, other than the work that the government is doing. The IMF concludes that facing policy and reform setbacks in 2024, and I'm just quoting. So then that first part of the sentence, it shows that the IMF believes that under your watch, there was policy and reform setbacks. But then it goes on to say, the new government introduced corrective measures to restore progress. That, for the IMF, having done an independent assessment, the IMF concludes that all the benefits we see is because the government introduced corrective measures to correct your policy and reform setbacks. So that is the evidence.
You see, when the IMF, another breath, they will say this. Another angle, they will also say this. So you see, the same IMF will also tell you, I don't know the exact report, but I have chanced them saying that because of other measures of the previous government, that this government, Evans, are you trying to tell me that the DDEP did not do anything good to the economy, that I am owing you? And for the fact that I am owing you, I am not paying you, I'm not paying you interest and other things.
In the same way, it would be wrong to dismiss the impact of the DDEP on the current benefits. It's wrong to say that they haven't done anything, that all the benefits is because of other things, and not because of
It is because of the policies that the new patriotic party, the Akufo-Addo, the Dr. Bawumia-led administration, whatever they are going to do.
That is not what the evidence says on the back of the IMF. On the back of the IMF conclusion.
Can I tell him what is new?
Please tell him.
Let me tell you. You remember that the same domestic debt exchange, DDE, was there in 2024, but still inflation was around 54%. And reduced to about 24% as at December 2024. The same DDE was there. So how come that it did not reduce 2024 before they lose the election? How come? But I can tell you,
but
after a year,
also economically, there were projections. Even in 2024, that the inflation was going to continue on the downward trend into 2025.
It even started.
And it started.
So let me
from 54% all the way to 20%, and it's down.
He was saying that.
So they started doing something that began to reap the benefits.
Not at all. You just read from IMF that government has come up with policies, and I'll tell you one of the policies. Before I come to the policies, he should tell me. He wants you to explain to him that there should be deflation, not inflation, which you were trying to explain to him, Economics 101, that inflation simply means that prices of goods are increasing but at
very slow
pace, which he wants to see.
Slow pace or at a decreasing rate?
No, decreasing rate and slow pace.
Yeah.
Now,
slow pace. It's not.
So I'm saying that when we were buying fuel in 2024, 17 cedis per liter.
And diesel went to 21 thereabout.
And today, just after a year, with prudent economics policies.
It's under 10 cedis.
Now 9.99.
No, let him finish.
The prices of crude oil in the world market.
But let him finish.
What was the prices of crude oil in 2024 when the diesel was at 21? What is the current price of crude oil?
Let him finish.
A barrel in the market now. It's a low price.
Let him finish.
That is what is engineering.
Emmanuel Bedzrah, please wrap up your point. Well, your point is.
So we are saying that he asked for a prices of goods and services that has reduced. I'm giving you one. Whether it was world spot market or government policy, there was a reduction, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, that's for just the poor.
Let me ask you a question. Government has put more money in your pocket, Habib.
How?
Yes.
Because you used to buy fuel 17 cedis.
Yes. Today you are not buying.
Now you're buying it 9 cedis.
So
isn't there more money in your pocket? So when the government pays you, now your purchasing power is higher.
At the moment, the prices of fuel at pump is even still high because there is significant reduction in the price of crude oil in the world market.
That's where the price floor conversation.
You understand? So there is a serious reduction, not only in Ghana, everywhere. There is reduction. And equally, there is an increase in the price of gold per ounce in the market too, in the world market.
But I'm asking you a personal question. The government is making sure that the benefits have been transferred to you.
The fuel prices would have been around 8 cedis.
Habib, but this government has ensured that the benefits of what you're talking about has been transferred to your pocket.
They have no option. Because there is a price reduction in the world market on crude oil. What else can the government do?
Anyway, even there's a proverb, an adage in my language, that you can never praise your stepmother. So it is well understood that MPP will never praise NDC.
But you're also not giving them credit that they started implementing some measures that had a ripple effect on inflation.
Just give me one, then I will.
So in their case,
policy.
In their case, they did the domestic debt exchange. So that eased the debt bedding.
So it means that 2026.
And the goal for the
2026.
Right, they eased the debt
Go for it. Reserve program.
2026.
Started the goal for reserve program.
2026, we are not going to pay the debt.
Oh, you will pay?
Yes. So it means that from this year, you will see, you will all know whether government has a prudent measures to curb inflation or not.
Evans, we are all.
We'll come back to this place.
The new year of every government. When we got power, when we won 2016 election, 2017, inflation was down to single digits. Fuel prices had come down. The dollar came down to an extent that we were saying that, oh, we have arrested the dollar and everything. It is just a holiday that they are in now. They are not paying contractors. They are not spending. There is no money in the system.
We are not paying
that is why you are enjoying these holidays. And I am saying in 2026, we will all see there. Contractors are complaining.
But I'm telling you that we pay. I mean,
your department has been decapped. You are the board chairman of Get Fund.
I'm saying that we have paid. So it's a contractor. So
but the point is that paid all your contractors.
Okay, so Honorable Bedzrah, how many new projects have you given out?
Oh, you said we have not paid.
No, I'm just coming.
So I'm telling you,
the evidence.
They are not spending on capital expenditure. Nothing. And I'm saying that what is happening? The honeymoon.
But how do you say that with the big
we also enjoy it.
With the big push that is happening across the country?
What are they pushing? The big push. They just brought the even tender processes are just started. What are they doing? They are pushing nothing. It's just a slogan. Tell me one big push program project that have started or completed. Just
come to my constituency.
They have started a big push program and completed in your constituency.
How can you start?
So what are you talking about? Don't tell me that the big look.
They allocated money for it.
Even when you read the majority leader statement, he's saying that they will introduce a bill on the 24-hour economy. They said that. They told us that they were going to create jobs where it will be one job, 3 people, 3 shifts. These are all slogans. They will open a women's bank. I don't have a branch in Tolong. I don't know whether you have a women's bank branch in your constituency or your. So what I'm simply trying to say is that what you are benefiting, it is as a result of other international factors that favors the government, that have favored us before. Our first year, we dropped inflation to single digit. We stabilized the cedi to the dollar to an extent that we said we had arrested the dollar then. The micro and the macroeconomic indicators were favorable. Before we exited, the debt to GDP program helped. The goal for reserve program introduced by His Excellency Dr. Mahama Bawumia. His thinking, it is what we are doing now. There is clearly a serious reduction on the prices of crude oil in the world market. So NDC have no option than to reduce the price. There is no option. They are doing nothing new, nothing optics. Government is sacrificing nothing. The only thing is that there is reduction in prices of crude oil in the world market. Government is doing nothing with regards to the dollar because the central bank, before President Mahama will tell us that the central bank is not coming in, the central bank, IMF will say that they should now publish every month what they are spending. The central governor said that they have put in about 10 billion. The president said that they are intervening in the market. Let's wait when the intervention stops.
Habib,
let's wait and see when other things. What are they doing?
The same IMF program that you cite for the current economic gains that you began, the IMF tells you that they introduce corrective measures, and that is why we are enjoying.
But what measures did the IMF mention? They should tell us the corrective measures. What are the corrective measures?
But the part of the corrective measures is
we also inherited an IMF program from them when we came in. And they were saying that.
And you left.
Whatever. No, I'm saying. Yeah, so it is nothing new. We inherited an IMF
had a KK
program for it. So what I'm saying is that this government is a cut and paste government. They will come and say that they're taking levy, they are bringing.
Let me hear him on that. And let him finally on this accusation. It says point to any direct policy intervention that has led to the economic gains. That is not from them.
That is not from them.
Yes.
Almost
or credited to international global factors.
Almost all of them. I can tell you, Evans, that if you have a leader who has been there before and has seen it all, when it comes back, is able to determine how to steer the affairs of this governance. And I can tell you that with Honorable Atuforsen as the Minister of Finance, who has been the minority leader of finance before, Finance Committee, having Johnson Isiama as the Governor of Bank of Ghana, having Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, Her Excellency, as a head of economic management team, having His Excellency John Dramani Mahama being the head of state of this current government. I'm telling you that every policy that we have planned to do has come to pass. You heard President John Mahama on Sunday that even this has overwhelmed us. It overwhelmed us because all the policy interventions that we put in place, we did not even know that we will exceed that expectation. We have exceeded it. How much was our inflation target? It wasn't 5%. We were looking at 6%. Today, it's 5.4%. So it shows clearly that when you target something, you put policies in place to make sure that you don't overspend. You spend according to how much you earn. That's why he's saying that we are not spending in capital expenditure. How do we spend on capital expenditure when you know you don't have the money? You do not budget for a project, and you go, spending on agenda 1111 that you know you don't have the money for it. Why wouldn't you be borrowing from kitchen, from toilet, and be, pumping into the system? If you are a prudent manager, you know very well that I have to borrow or I will not borrow. And we decided that we're not going to borrow according to IMF. We will not borrow. We will use our own resources to finance it. So we will not go chasing other projects, putting projects that we know will not. Look, they came with a lot of slogans. 1 million, one constituency. Ask him, one toilet. I've not seen a toilet in my constituency that costs $1 million.
You also criticized that one district, one factory.
Yes, one district, one factory. All these things were brought on bear. But have we seen any one district, one factory?
Let me ask you.
So it's about policy. It's about leadership.
Let me ask you. When the majority, I'm sure you've seen his statement in reaction to yours, he says something about the one district, one factory. He says the one district, one factory policy was particularly outstanding as a monumentally failed government policy due to the corruption and blatant abuse. If it was that successful, many of the youth that Afenyo Markin pretend to be concerned about would have had jobs in the private sector by now. Is that a fair point?
No. I disagree with the respected majority leader and the leader of our house to the extent that the argument Honorable Afenyo Markins was making was to the effect that you have laid people off work. You said you were going to create one job, 3 people, 3 shifts, but you are rather taking jobs from people. The factories that he is talking about, definitely some of them existed and people were employed. And factories, existing factories and other factories benefited from the project. My senior was talking about Agenda 11 where there was no capital expenditure. Evans, you know what brought about the Agenda 11? There was a pandemic. There was COVID. There was a real challenge that affected everybody globally. We needed to respond. But what is NDC responding to when they are increasing 28% on tariff? What are they responding to when they are bringing a doomsday levy that you pay 4 cedi per gallon of oil that you have to buy at the pump? What are they responding to when they have deceived the Ghanaian youth that they were going to create a job and they have created none? What are they responding to when they deceived the Ghanaian women that they were going to open a bank specifically for them? These are the issues that we were saying. Now, if they keep making this argument, it is already an indication that the NDC is going to be a failed government because Ghanaians voted for you probably because they didn't believe in the policy of the New Patriotic Party, the MPP. They voted them out. They have given you the nod. You are not to compare. You are to govern. You are to lead. You are to perform to the admiration of the Ghanaian people, that they opted for your government, that you should be able to move. Yes, the governor of the central bank is a fine gentleman. I think that he should detach himself from the politics because we all believe, normally they said the central government governor is a technical person, that between the gold board and the Ministry of Finance, the IMF is telling us that there is a trade loss of 214 million United States dollars. So when you want, if I want to assess the NDC government within the 1 year, I look at the back of what they campaigned for. I won't talk about what the MPP did because Ghanaians didn't buy it. That's what they voted us out. Yeah. So if you sit on a national television and you are not telling us that our Agenda 111 failed, our one district 11 factory failed, what have you done to that regard? What are your substitutes?
On that point, the majority leader says when Parliament resumes next week, he says they will request for a detailed audit of the one district, one factory policy to establish the identity of companies that receive the tax exemptions and exactly what the tax exemptions were actually used for. Do you support this?
So you see, it is within his right as a member of Parliament to be able to initiate that. But he's just looking at one angle. And you see that you could already sense mischief in what actually he's saying. Why not about the fact that how many jobs that it has created? What was its impact on the economy? But you are rather saying that who are the individuals and who are those who benefited from it? Clearly, it is a witch hunt. Clearly, it is going after some people. What we want to hear and what Ghanaians want to hear is that the agenda, the one district, one factory, or the factories that we are talking about, how many jobs has it been able to create? What is the impact of it in our economy? This is not the time.
So will you support this audit?
Yes, if he wants to do it, he's so free to do it. He's a majority leader.
But will they get the minority support in auditing the one district?
We are always ready for it. They have already come for tax exemptions on many companies. They were those who were against the exemption. You brought the Tata deal to Parliament and you gave them exemption. A tax holiday was a lot of money. But you said you were not in support of the one district, one factory. But you have also brought some exemptions into that. So if he files it within us, we will also be able to see what? It's accountability. We also see exactly what we can also ask of the government. But what I do know is that this government have failed the way people are already projecting and positioning themselves. We are in serious
trouble. Mr. Bedzrah, you accept that there's been failure in the last 1 year?
See the way I laughed. He knows very well that we haven't failed. Just as you mentioned that we are putting money into his pocket because he's not going to buy food.
There is nothing in my pocket. Nothing. Nothing.
We are putting money in his pocket, not only in his pocket, but in the pocket of many Ghanaians who beforehand would have bought fuel at a higher price. But Evans, having said that, let us not forget, he cannot just say that we should forget about the fact that we had some problems, some challenges in the previous administration, therefore we should not mention it. He has forgotten that just recent, about a year or two ago, no, 2 years ago, when we were talking about gold for oil, there were losses. I mean, audited account in 2023, 2024 talks about gold for oil, gold for reserve, there were losses. I mean, if you go to Bank of Ghana, if you permit me, I can read it for you. In 2023, gold for oil, that G4O, 1.18 billion cedis, and then G4R, that's gold for reserve, 973 million. In total, 2.14 billion cedis in 2023 alone. Come to 2024, G4O, 667.79 million. Then G4R, 8.18 billion, amounting to 4.84 billion Ghana cedis were losses. You say we shouldn't talk about that one. But he's talking about the fact that Gold Board has made trade losses, which was not even audited. And we all agree that it should be audited. And then the whole world will know whether this one's audited. I'm talking about auditing from the Bank of Ghana. So we shouldn't talk about it. We shouldn't talk about the losses that we incurred. We shouldn't talk about Agenda 111, but we should talk about what we will be doing. And I'm telling you that what we have done so far show clearly that the policies and leadership acumen that we have brought to bear has reduced inflation downwards. It has also reduced our...
He says the Statistical Service is
No, I don't want to go there because he said it. Maybe from here we can ask the Director General of Statistical Service to take him to court, to come and prove there. But so that has come down. Let's look at the exchange rate. Exchange rate has come down. Fuel has come down. We are talking about the fact that when the fundamentals of your macroeconomic is not working, the exchange rate will expose you. The exchange rate is exposing us that our fundamentals are working well. Ghanaians are watching. And I want to believe that Ghanaians know that they're giving us mandate. And this mandate, we will make sure that we'll fulfill that mandate. And they will even give us the nod till the next 30 years.
I see. So next week, Tuesday, when Parliament resumes, you've already told us your posture. We can expect that when Parliament resumes, your posture will change. You're not going to tolerate a lot of the things that you did in the past. What would this look like in reality when Parliament resumes?
Evans, when we resume as responsible, mighty minority, and as well-organized group as we have been, we'll definitely interrogate a lot of issues. We'll ask a lot of questions. We'll do our oversight, and we'll make sure that the government is held to accountable. The government that deceive Ghanaians. When you come to my constituencies, farmers are suffering. I'm just from Tamale. That farmers have their farm produce. Nobody is there to buy. Oh, okay. It is a miracle to get somebody to buy your farm produce. Previously, a farmer in my constituency told me that, Honorable, the English you are speaking and all the inflation, the dollar you are saying, I don't understand that. What I can tell you is that in 2024, when I sell 10 bags of maize, I could buy a motorbike. Now, even if I sell 30 bags of maize, I cannot buy a motorbike. And even if I will get a buyer for that maize, farmers are suffering.
But if the motorbike
Ghanaians farmers are not
cheap. It's cheap.
I'm saying no.
It's cheaper now.
Ghanaian farmers
and the maize too has come down. So he's admitting that the price of things have come down.
So you see, what Honorable Bedzrah doesn't understand is that when you are speaking in the Ghanaian economy, it is two different categories of people that you are talking about. You are talking about dollar. There are people who have never seen dollar. You are talking about people buying fuel. There are people who doesn't buy fuel. There are people who doesn't even understand the inflation, and they don't understand the dollar issue that you are talking about. They are everyday people who believe what I have to take out of my pocket, who believe that I have to plow an acre of land. I pay 200 Ghana cedis to plow the acre of land. I buy fertilizer. I buy a weedicide and everything. And at the end of the day, I have it. What do I have? When I sell, what can I get? So the most important thing, we are in serious trouble as a country. Serious trouble, because when you listen to people like Honorable Bedzrah, when we are talking about losses that the IMF themselves have pointed out to the government, that the Gold Board and the Ministry of Finance, there is this kind of loss. And you are now referring us.
We just ran out of time.
That's what I'm saying.
What's going to be your majority posture to them? Because they've already served notice what you can expect.
Well, when you come to Parliament, the way we see it is a horseshoe sitting. It's all about, it is not confrontational. It is to have what we call, we sit down and agree among ourselves. And so that is the posture I expect from them as a minority. We don't want a situation where we degenerate into all kinds of things in the House. One of the things that I particularly do not like, and I've said it several times on this platform, is the fact that we get there and we are behaving like senior high school children. We start fighting, we start shouting, we start banging the table. I mean, Parliament should be respect. That respect should be there. That's why they call us honorable. Then why are we called honorable? So I want to beg my colleagues.
You're not going to fight them fire with fire.
Why should we fight them fire in fire? We are in the majority. We want our business done. But they must also respect us. That as much as we want our business done, they must come with constructive criticism, as we did when we were in the minority. I came, when they came to power in 2017, we were also in a small minority. They whipped us into 106, and they were there.
169.
And they were 169. It happened before.
Okay.
And we respected them. We didn't fight them. We worked with you. Until when we have the hang parliament.
It's not true you work with us. Even
until we come to the hang parliament.
You said there will be chaos.
It was
the hang parliament. You said there will be
Ilevy was hang parliament.
I'm grateful that you joined.
Ilevy was hang parliament.
That's it for PM Express.